let's get started. And we are going to start with a playful exercise. This time, not only to help us relax, but also to do a study of the colors. And because we're painting the grapes and then the blueberry, they're really pretty colors. So, and I want to just get to it and have fun with it, and then get inspiration. And also, I have been asked what are the practice paper I use, and this is this. And this is a great paper pad, and I got it from Walmart. It's very good quality actually, and very economical. So I use this paper a lot for my playfulness and intuitive painting and all the studies that doesn't require a lot wet on wet like layering, that kind of technique, but just a one-time go thing, and I just use it. And for my playfulness exercise, I like to use a big brush, and that will just help me to be not so fussy and to have just a good time and splash some water. So with the grapes, I'm looking at it has this wonderful dark red kind of color, but I don't want to just stay there because we are painting watercolor, and that's beautiful. So we don't have to be confined, but we can use the reference as a reference, but bring in more interesting colors that maybe not our eyes see, but also makes sense in the real world. So see, I'm adding a little bit of purple. I think that just brings it so much more liveliness. And then there's actually, I see a little bit of even this coral and even a little bit of orange color. And maybe I can add even a little bit of yellow ochre in the light part and see how I like it. And I'm noticing I actually really like this color combination, but this doesn't look like a grape yet. So let's see what we can do. So I'm actually mixing more of this pigment on my paper. I'm on my brush. And see, now I have a much darker color. And I'm noticing as I'm putting down darker colors, this color underneath it still shows up. Yeah, so that gives that the light, and that's something I can use as I go into my painting. So I continue to try to see what I can do to create a beautiful dark. I'm just playing. So this one, actually I like this is Payne's gray with a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of purple. So let's see, this seems to be too blue, right? And it's actually, let me try to add some warm color. And maybe some. So okay, I'm just keep going and until I'm finding something on my paper that I really like. And also notice that I am not mixing my colors on my palette, but I'm mixing it on my paper, because when I do that, it actually gives it much more of interesting. See all the interesting variation. It doesn't look stiff. Actually, in my local class just the other day, a student asked me exactly this question: how to make colors feel more alive? And that's one key. So as I was talking, let me show you. So if we mix color on the paper, for example, on palette, this one I already have some blue and some pinks. I'm mixing, and then have it here. And notice that it's kind of already a grayish purple. It's not a bad color. But what if we mix on the palette? So let me clean this up. Now I'm actually going to bring in some of that ultramarine blue with a little bit of purple, and noticing I'm not over mixing, but I'll bring it here and then rinse my brush and pick up more of that purple. And notice there's already different variation that's happening. It's much more alive. And now if I want to add a little bit of alizarin crimson, and I can just put it down. And if I don't like it, I want to be cooler, I just glide some colors. So, but now compare these two. This just a very unanimous, and this similar color, but you have different colors that show up at different places. And this does definitely have its place if you want to. So, but this is normally how I mix, and this is what I was trying to do earlier, to try to get a good color for my grapes. Okay. Okay, so now I did this play, and I've discovered one thing. One helpful tip for me is when I put down a lighter tone earlier and then drop in darker colors, these light colors still shows up, and I really like that luminosity of it. So I'm going to try to do that as I'm painting my grape. And look, this thing is so interesting. See how the watermark is forming. It's just gorgeous. And also in my last class, I have this wonderful, complete beginner student, and she has something like that going. She is like panicking. Oh no, I made a mess. And then I told her, oh no, this is exactly what we want in watercolor. This is to die for. It's so pretty when that happens. It's just magical. So, but of course, everybody have different ideas. Whatever it feels right for you, and just stay with it. Trust yourself. All right, next let's go on with this grapes painting. And first I want to tell you why I chose this photo, because actually this one has a clear light and shade patterns, and this is going to be a lot easier for us to create the form of the grapes. And if it's just more like mid-tones, then it's going to be a little difficult, especially for the beginners. But here, see this one, you can see clearly the highlight and the shape of the highlight, and then the darkness, the shadows, and the mid-tones. So it's pretty clear, and it's a very good one for the beginners. So let's get started with that. And the paper I'm using here is a Saunders Waterford 140-pound paper. And actually, I did a little study using just the student paper, practice paper I used earlier to do the wash. And look, I think it turned out pretty nice. So if you don't have a cotton paper, really just give this paper a try. I think it's worked pretty well too. And this one I painted without a pencil sketch, and you can do that. And for this one, I'm going to have a little just very simple pencil sketch. So for everyone who is more comfortable painting with a pencil sketch, okay? So I'm not going to paint the whole thing. It's going to be a little study like this. And that's actually another tip for my beginners, is to start with smaller paintings. And when you start to build your skills and experience, then start to go on with bigger paintings. And I'm noting the shape of my highlight. That's very important. And that's about it. Doesn't have to be the perfect looking grapes, just like the photo. And the shape of the shadow, if you want to have it on it, you can just gently have it too. I'm actually putting very light pencil mark because the shadow's edge, I know I don't want it to be very defined, so it's very light. Alrighty. Okay, now let's get going with our watercolor. And this is a size 2. It's a size 8. Sorry, what I was thinking. Size 8 natural hair watercolor brush. And I remember that when I was doing my play, I really liked to start with the lighter and yellow colors as a first layer. See here? And then add more colors. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to start with this one first. Next, I'm rinsing my brush and I'm going to pick some, actually a little bit of burnt amber, then with some alizarin crimson, because I feel like there's some brownish colors to it. And notice that I'm not covering the entire grape. I just painted but left some space for that to come on its own and not so some light can be shown. Then I will just keep going and building up my layer. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of the violet. I'm coming into this really dark area of the grape now. Since this is looking pretty good, I'll just come on in, get some of that stem going. I'm doing a little bit of dry brush, as I think that's really fitting for the stem. Add some strength to it. I'm softening this edge a little bit, so this is a little bit in the background, so I want it to go back a little bit more and softening a little bit of that. Little bit of it, so there's a lost and found edges here. And let's put in a little bit of stem color. It's just some sap green with a little bit of azo green. And picking up a little bit more yellow because I feel there's more yellow to it. Okay. And a little bit of definition, some darkness for the tip here. Okay. All right, now let me keep going for the shadow. So I'm actually using clear water. To soften everything because shadow color is more soft. Right, and a little bit, oops, a little too much. I got a lot of pigment on my brush, so just a little bit of violet with a little bit of ultramarine blue. Maybe a little bit of alizarin crimson. So if you pay attention to your shadow color, there's actually a variation of tones. So actually I like to play with the shadow colors. And you actually have more of the freedom. It doesn't have to be the gray. So actually here I'm going to drop in some of yellow ochre. Okay, now let's keep going with the second one. And again, I'm going to have some of that yellow color first. And first, oh, on my pencil sketch, I forgot to carve out the light, so I'm going to go with that first. Okay, now switching colors into a little bit of burnt umber and with some alizarin crimson. And then keep going with more of darker red, alizarin, starting to getting more of the violet into the mix. Okay, and here that edge of that shape highlight is too defined, so I'm going to soften it so it looks more natural. And I also want to soften this edge here. Okay, now we can come in with a little bit of darkness. Some darkness here. Okay. And some of the texture just brush in. Okay, and then I'm softening this edge so it doesn't look so cut out. Alright, and now I'm actually switching to a synthetic brush and just make it moist and then take off some scrub, a little bit of that highlight and some of the edge. Oh, there goes my young rooster. Did you hear it? Okay, now shadow colors. Okay. Okay, and darkening the shadow area. Oops, that's too red, but not to worry. We'll simply add a little bit more of the violet, and that'll be just okay. Actually, I went ahead to darken that area a little bit more with violet. And maybe a little bit here. From that. So this is actually darker than I wanted. So again, using this synthetic brush, I'm going to take off, almost feather it out so it doesn't look so confined. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, see, now this color doesn't look too much in the shadow. It actually even want a little bit more colors. with that color. Darken this a little bit more. Right. And dropping a little bit of that yellow color. I think we are there. And soften my edges. Okay, I like what is going on then. Okay, rooster. Just want to add a little bit of this red to the stem, so there's more color harmony. And the last thing I want to do, if you've seen my tutorial, you know that I just want to spread a little bit to give that atmosphere. Okay, now I want to spread a little bit of blue, purplish blue. Just cool this down a little bit. Right, I think this is it. Okay, all right, so without more fussing, and this is little two grapes, and I really like how they turned out. Okay, now I have a new piece of paper, and this is a blueberry. Isn't this beautiful? So we're going to play with the colors. All right, I'm also going to use my large brush, and we'll start getting some blue in here. That's quite close, and I'm seeing a little bit different blue. Maybe let's try to get a little bit Prussian blue. Okay, just a little bit. Yeah, I think just a little bit gives that kind of blueberry blue. And now let's try to add a little bit of purple. Okay, that somehow feels too purple. What if instead I add a little bit of alizarin crimson? Okay, actually, yeah, I like this. It feels more like a natural kind of thing for the blueberry would have. And what else? It actually has some grain. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of azo grain. Yeah, I see it peek out from the background. Okay, this may be a little bit of too much of a, you know, the contrast. So let me tone it down. Okay, I like it toned down a little bit with the sap green. And there's even some really pretty orange. Can you believe it? This is such a beautiful, gorgeous fruits. Yeah, I'm trying a little bit of that orange, and then add a little bit of rosy color. Wow, this is so pretty. and try to add a little bit of purple. Yes, lovely. Okay. Now let's try some dark color. There's some really dark colors. I'm picking up some violet with a little bit of Payne's gray. Okay, yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. Let's try and add more blue. Just now playing, see what kind of blue really works. So this ultramarine blue. What if I have some phthalo blue? Whoa, that's a little bit too much. Wait, that's not phthalo blue. This is actually Prussian blue. Where is my phthalo blue? Maybe I don't have it. This is still Prussian blue. Okay. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with this anyway. So see, I'm just continue to play and dropping in color on my paper like we talked about earlier. We mix on the paper. That's really what we're doing, and see what colors we got. And I find myself a lot of times go to purple directly without mixing on my own purple. So maybe this time I want to try to mix my own purple with blue. And how about some opera rose? Whoa, that's more rosy than purple. How about add a little bit? Okay. Alrighty. Okay. I think I have a good time playing with them. And what if we spatter some of that greenish yellow, because that gives the contrast. Let's see how it looks. I like it pretty much. I like it. Okay, I'm just spattering some clear water, and I like that too. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is very good play for me. I feel like I can keep playing. Yeah. All right, so that's what I'm doing, and I really want to ask you to do the same as before you begin your official painting, and take the time to be just to be with your painting subject without trying to make it into anything, but play, and you discover so much in it. Alrighty, let's go to the next step. Next, we are going to paint this blueberries, and I'm actually going to use an entirely different approach, because when I look at the blueberries, I feel just wow. It's not a focused feeling like the grapes. They're really focused on each little grapes, but this one I feel like expansion of colors and light. So because of that, I'm going to do a free flow of colors first, and then go in and to define a few grapes. So it's going to be a very atmospheric painting. So let's give it a try. I'm going to start by dropping in some blue colors just to get it started. get color flow. And some pink color. Using my photo as a guide. And some orange color, just some really pretty orange color that I want to capture. Some pink. So at this point, it really doesn't have to be exact, but just, you know what I'm going to say, playing. Okay, now let's drop in some this lemon-ish green color. Man, I'm telling you, I'm already loving this. Okay, now let's just get it flow a little bit more. And different directions. Let's try this direction. Let it flow this way as well. Okay, yeah, maybe it's better some. Great. Okay, I feel like this is pretty colorful already. And let's see, maybe a little bit of here. Yep, I like that there. So there is a flow of colors. Probably a little bit of here. Maybe a little bit of this here. Okay, without making it into a neon light, let me just stop right here. I think this is colorful enough. Then we can use it as a wonderful base to get it going. Okay, we have this dried and it's just truly beautiful already, and with all the wonderful color fusions and watermark. And this one is really just begging to be painted as a blueberry. So let's start from there. So I'm just mark out this shape of the blueberry, And then I'm going to, actually I see another blueberry here and another one here. So yeah, it's pretty amazing when you paint this way. So let me just do that, since I'm seeing that. A little bit dark mixture, some violet and some ultramarine blue. I'm painting the gap in between the blueberries. See, now I have two brushes. One I just used to soften the edges. This is so fun. I really see this blueberry right there. Okay, well, since I'm seeing it, let me just define this one here. Softening. And now maybe I can just come in to paint the tip of this blueberry. Okay, and then dropping in some reddish to make it more purple. Right. And we're going to come back later to define this more or less, because we have more blueberries to go. I don't want to be too like full on for one, as we are painting a whole deal. So let's keep going and see what's the next one I want to paint. And this one is really pretty. I see this big blueberry right here. So let's just do that. see what else. I don't want to paint every single blueberry, so we're going to make some choices which we're going to leave out, but there are some that we really want to paint. I think I still want to get another one right here. Let's get this. So I'm basically looking at all the blueberries that I want to get to, and now I can come back to try to define one better. So I want to go with this one. Okay, now let's darken our shadow and bring it out better. And we can start to give our blueberry a little bit more color. bit of grain that we see in the shadows. A little bit of texture helps to make it more realistic. Okay, so I think that one is pretty nice. It's almost done. And let's do this. Oops. Let's give this one a little bit more definition. See, this little bit of darkness actually go a long way. Let's get some background grain to set it in better. Right, let's see who else want to go. Maybe actually drop in a little bit of red here. I'm going to paint this one just a little bit. But now to define the whole thing. So it will be a story untold kind of feeling. Since it's coming toward the end the end of the paper. Feel like we need more greens, so I'm just dropping some in there. Okay, one more there. And this one is a lot less defined because this is coming out of the focus, so we don't have to call too much attention to it. And let's do this one now. Actually, just that one swipe I feel is already good enough. So maybe just a little bit of texture. Okay, I'm just going to let it be something like that for now. There's a big one right here. And okay, let's just another swipe and see how we like it. Okay, I feel this swipe of color is good enough, just a little bit of shadow. right, now this bit, coming to this part of the blueberry cluster. Let's see. Let's try another swipe, but more of purplish. Something like that. Maybe just a little outline to show something is there. See, this just looking like another little grape, blueberry. So I'm just going to do a little bit of negative painting, give it a yeah, I like that better. Alright, I feel like we're really getting there. We don't have to keep define everything forever, but this is really pretty. Let's see, just a little bit of suggestion. It's softening all the edge because this one is really kind of out there, so I don't want to make it too defined. Just a little bit of hint. So I'm actually slowing down, and as I'm getting to the completion, and making decision on what I want to paint and what I want to leave out. Feels like something wants to happen here. Perhaps just a little bit of negative painting. Maybe a swipe to indicate something's there. All right, okay, now coming this side, we're getting really close. Yeah, I like this green blueberry here. Maybe give it this green too, since I really like that. Okay. All right, I'm really feeling, excuse me, I'm getting to a closing point to this blueberry fun play. And just one little line, and try a little line here. I like to leave all this very loose. Maybe just a little bit of definition here. Okay, I think something can happen there. Maybe just a little outline. Okay, yeah. And a little bit outline here. Okay, I feel like this is, I have enough blueberries here, and let me do my finishing touch. Then I know when I do that, I'm ready to put down my brush. So it's just a little bit spatter, some blue and some pink. Okay. Okay, I think I like to have a little bit down here. Okay. All right. Just a little bit of center of attention. Okay. All right, I'm putting down my brush, and here is this little blueberry, finding the blueberry in the mystery painting, and it's more difficult than I thought, but it's also really interesting. So how do you like it? Do you want to give it a try? Well, if you want to try this, just start with a few that you feel like you want to define, and try to lose some edge as you go out and see what you got. If you paint, I really want to see what you paint yourself this time. It's all going to be different. All right, well, thank you so much for watching today's lesson, and we had 2 interesting exercise, and I hope you enjoyed both of these. Let me zoom out. Right. Thank you for being with me, and I hope to see you again next time. Happy painting!